Hi, my name is Samantha Paige. I am the founder and creator of Last Cut Project, which is a multimedia documentary project that speaks about truth and how we tell our stories and use our voices to express truth. I am an artist, a writer, a mother. I'm a cancer survivor, a cancer previvor. I have experienced a lot of pain in my life and use that pain to figure out how to find my inner truth and use that to communicate with others, to help them and inspire them to find their truth. It's a crazy time that we are living in, and I think that it's causing a lot of people to feel a lot of anxiety and worry. There's a lot of fear. And perhaps some of us were feeling that way before, and this just exacerbated it. I think that one of our greatest tools that we have is our voice. And I want to share with you a little bit about my own story and highlight how I have healed through using my voice and expressing what was happening with me on the inside. When I was 21 years old, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. It came out of the blue. I was a senior in college. I had just studied abroad in Italy, ciao Italia, and I was shocked. I went for a regular checkup and was told that I needed to go and get a biopsy, and that followed up with 2 weeks later a call from my doctor that the tumor that they had found in my neck was indeed malignant. It was cancerous. And I was just about to start my senior year of college. It was such a moment of finally tapping into my independence and feeling as if I knew who I was and how I wanted to be living on this planet, kind of outside of my family and all of the things that I thought I should be. And then that happened. And I luckily was fine. I had surgery. I had 2 rounds of radiation, but it was a really traumatic experience, and it came out of the blue. And I think that's a feeling that a lot of us can sort of relate to right now, that something really traumatic is happening and it's sort of come out of the blue, and it's compounding other things that we might be feeling. And the way that I dealt with that was the way that I thought society had told me, the way that society had modeled for me that we're supposed to deal with things that are happening on the inside that feel uncomfortable. And that was the messaging that I had always got was be optimistic, be positive, hold it together, work harder, succeed, and that all of those things would make the inner turmoil go away. And guess what? It doesn't work that way. It didn't work that way for me. I smiled, sort of put on a happy face, said the right things, and then I would go up into my room and cry for hours and hours and hours when I was going through treatment during that time. And I made it through, and as I said, I survived that cancer and went back to college, graduated from my senior year. And as the years went on, as I was moving into my 20s, I started to find that I was having panic attacks. I was feeling a lot of anxiety. I was becoming more depressed. I wasn't sleeping at night. I started to have really bad migraine headaches. All of these things that sort of were creeping out. And I think looking back and what I learned, what really happened was I was having an experience on the inside, and I had not created a valve to release the pressure, and I had not processed that really traumatic experience. And what I learned sort of the hard way through my 20s was that we need to create an outlet for the things inside that feel uncomfortable, that are causing us pain. That's how we heal. That's how we create space. Finally, when I started to unravel that experience of sort of having this surprise diagnosis of cancer when I was 21, I was then able to create space for those feelings to move through. And with that expression, I found that I was able to find more connection with myself and with others. And also I started to feel better. So as I went through my 20s, I started to then look at all of the places in my life where I had done what society had told me that maybe didn't feel right. And what came later was I had another surgery. I had a preventive double mastectomy when I was in my early 30s and had reconstruction along with that and got implants. Because again, society had told me this is what a woman's body looks like. And I lived with those implants for 9 years and then started to recognize that I was having a lot of the same symptoms that I had had when sort of after the cancer. And in looking back, I sort of had already started to write about the experience of having cancer. And after I lived with those implants and kind of had this recognition that that was not who I was and how I wanted to be in my body. And I was fortunate enough to have what's called an explant surgery 4 years ago. And I decided to go flat with that. And for me, that felt like it was the correct expression of my body. With that, I decided to create Last Cut Project. And Last Cut Project started with this moment of me writing about my explant. It started with me sharing of this experience of saying there's something going on within me that doesn't feel as if it's aligned with how I'm living outside in the world. And with that moment, I started writing about those things and realized that more and more I was finding freedom that felt like it was coming through that creative expression. And I started to connect with other people around their stories of how they had said, oh, society tells me I'm supposed to look or feel or be this way, but really when I'm this way, I feel more authentic and I feel like myself and I feel a greater sense of wellness. So Last Cut Project became this space where we gather in community to talk about who we are and why we're here and to express the things that we're told are not really expressible. And I think that's where we find healing. So in this moment where you might be feeling scared or stressed about your well-being on many fronts, whether it's, your health, economically, schools canceled, there are so many things that are going on that feel really scary right now. If we keep those feelings inside, they can create other problems. If we let them out, if we ask for help, if we write, if we express, there's a valve that lets those out and the pressure doesn't stay inside of us and it doesn't cook and make us feel worse. So what I've learned through my experiences, whether it be the cancer or living in a body that didn't feel like it was mine for so long, is the best medicine to begin with is to express ourselves, to use our words, to reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling and I need help. And I think that can look a few different ways. If you have someone that you can reach out to, great. I think the power of our words and the power of writing for me has always been my greatest tool. So think about how you're feeling and maybe you can put it down in words and create greater wellness for yourself through that expression. I think that's where we find community, that's where we find connection, that's where we find healing. We're told that as human beings, we are, meant to be a certain way. Success has looked a certain way. Well-being has looked a certain way. But I always say to my daughter, and I say in my work all the time, we're full spectrum human beings, and that comes with a broad range of emotions, and not all of those emotions are quote unquote positive. Some of those emotions that are extremely healthy encapsulate sadness, heaviness, fear, anxiety, being scared, all of those things. Those are natural human reactions to things that happen in our world. And right now there's something happening globally that it's very reasonable to be feeling those things. But the important thing is to keep them moving. Let them move through your body so that they don't make you sick. I also know that probably many of you have had things canceled that feel disappointing, that feel as if either they provided structure or excitement. Our lives right now don't look the way that they normally do. Our rhythms are different. Our support networks are different. My daughter was meant to have her bat mitzvah late in March, a few days ago, and I asked people to write her letters. Again, expression creates healing. It creates connection. And I want to take a moment to read to you one of the things that I wrote to her, because I think it's applicable for all of us in this moment where things feel so untethered and scary. So forgive me while I look away from the camera, but I'm going to read this that I wrote to my daughter. I believe that we feel as deeply as we do because it helps us understand things. From that place, the depth of feeling, we're able to figure out where change can be made. We're able to make suggestions. We're able to have deep compassion and understanding for ourselves, yes, but just as importantly, and maybe more so, for others. We want a better world, and in the short term, that calls for us to feel the pain in the current one. We cannot find solutions if we don't fully understand the problems. I believe we feel the problems so deeply because we're part of the solution. I believe each and every one of you are part of the solution. And I think that why I rise, why we share, is to heal ourselves, to let other people know that we're not alone in this, and to move through the emotions that we're taught by society are better hidden. And those hidden emotions are what actually can make us feel worse. So find a safe space, use your pen or your keyboard or your phone, get the feelings out, make them beautiful, share them with others. I trust that this will create amazing connection between your heart, yourself, your mind, and the people around you. And always, don't be afraid to ask for help. Reach out to, family if you can, teachers, mentors. You can reach out to the people around you. This is a time to be asking for help. And expressing yourself if you feel alone. We're in this together, and I can't wait to read what you write. I know it will be beautiful. I'm sending you so much love from my home to yours. Know that you're not alone. Know that your words matter, and I know that we will all get through this.